Thank you for joining me on the Get What You Want podcast, where getting what you want isn't always what you think it is. My wish for you is that this show will create an awareness within yourself of what you really want and the possibility of getting it. Let's go create. My guest today is Bettina Gordon-Wayne. Bettina is a journalist, author, certified mental strength trainer who helps women overcome their limiting beliefs around age and creates the lives they dream of. Bettina lives for this topic, quite literally. Me too. After an international career in journalism and creating a new life in a foreign country, she's European and living in the US. In her 20s and 30s, Bettina made some bold moves again once she hit her 40s. Bettina had her first child, wrote her first best-selling book, and beautifully healed from breast cancer, all past her 40th birthday. This year, she will turn 50 with a big bash in Mexico, and Bettina can't wait to see what's next as she convinced the best is yet to come. Welcome, Bettina.
Thank you so much for having me. Hi, Shirley. How are you?
Hi. I'm so good. I'm so glad that you're here. This is a great subject. Being a woman, still in her 40s, almost in her 50s. I'm excited to hear about all the fun that we're going to have next. So
Yes. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful time.
Well, start by telling me, I know about you, but my listeners don't. So tell me a little bit about your story, where you're from, how this became something so interesting to you, and then tell me about what you do.
Yes, thank you. I honestly think that the conversation of age and ageism is endlessly fascinating because we are living now in a time where we are rewriting the script of what we are thinking about what age looks like.
Mm-hmm.
How we move forward, our abilities as we get older and more mature and wiser with age. So I think it's a really beautiful, beautiful time right now. I mean, granted that our current reality, we are recording this while coronavirus is still a very hot topic, and other conversations, very important conversations, are being brought to the forefront in politics, in life, and so on. But talking about ageism is still a very, very important topic because of ageism that you and I, as women, I mean, men have it too, but for women, this topic has been prevalent for generations, for like generations and generations of women, especially since we have modern media. We are portrayed, or we see the beautiful young women on TV and playing mothers and so on, and once they're pushing 30 or God forbid 40, the picture changes. I mean, this is how you and I still grew up with that. Once you hit your 40s and you don't see the actresses on TV anymore, and this is completely changing. Like in the last 10, 20 years, I would say, with stars like Jennifer Aniston or J-Lo. I mean, remember just a few months ago, we celebrated Super Bowl. J-Lo and Shakira. J-Lo is 50, Shakira is in her late 40s. They rock the house. So it's really, really changing. And I think for me personally, this is such an important topic, and one that I find invigorating and enlivening, is because I noticed how important it is to change the narrative around aging. And I noticed that you mentioned it at the beginning, that I had my first child at the age of 44. So for me, that was completely normal because I'm third generation of women who have their children in the 40s. I know you had your children much earlier than that.
I did, yes.
So for you, I mean, so for me, it was totally normal. But when I say that to you, I had my first child at 44. How would that have been for you? Just bouncing off a quick question here before we go.
So for me, my mom had a child at 41. I guess she was 41. And I remember back then it being such a huge thing. And I feel like it was like 35 or something where they called us like like you're a senior child, And so I remember having my last child at 32 and being just, oh, good, I'm not a senior having a baby. But it's not super foreign to me since my mom did. But I remember there was just so much more care and all of that put into it. And then something also that just kind of came to me was, you know how we always hear men, men age, they get better with age, and then women just age. It's so funny because I really am seeing that. Like, my husband's super handsome. He's getting more handsome, like, as his gray comes in. And, you hear all these, or you see men with gray hair, and it's like, they look handsome, but then we're all trying to cover it all up, right? So there's definitely a stigma with that.
Yes. But you brought up the word that is so important. We are trained to cover it up.
Yes.
We are trained to think that women are getting older. We are trained. This is training. So let me just go back just a little bit to that term when mentioned at the age of 35, things are changing. Before that, the doctor will say, "Oh yeah, have a child, it's all good," and so on. And the moment a woman hits 35, she reaches that dreaded portal of the advanced maternal age.
Yes, we're seniors.
And all of a sudden, the narrative is very, very different. And then let alone you cross 40, then your own doctors will instill that the living daylights, that the fear to no end within you, because now every month counts, every minute, every whatever. And I noticed that. So when I had my child at 44, easy pregnancy, natural birth, everything easy peasy. And I thought, like, my God, this is such a beautiful experience to have a child later in life. I don't have anything to compare it to. I'm just saying that because I had a full life before I became a mother. Yeah. So my ability to really enjoy it and be with my son and dive into this new phase of my life was so profound that as a journalist, I wanted to write a book about it. And this is when I really started my research into this topic. And I found out, it's like I made the same mistake when I decided, okay, I want to write a book about it. I did what every woman on this planet with access to a computer does. She Googles. She's asking Dr. Google for advice. I put in search terms like pregnancy over 35, pregnancy over 40. And Shirley, it is mind-blowing. You hit the return and you get one story after the other, only talking about what can go wrong, what will go wrong most likely, that is going to be almost impossible, that you need to have assisted reproductive technology, otherwise it's not working, and so on and so on and so on. And I noticed it was so odd because I was sitting next to my computer with my little baby in the crook of my arm, and with the other hand I was doing my research, and I'm reading all of this, and I noticed how anxiety and almost fear washed over me. Like I still remember this feeling of like becoming totally insecure all of a sudden and thinking, oh my God, I mean, I know this is ridiculous, but I was reading all of this and I felt this fear coming up thinking, oh my God, can I even have a child at my age? And I'm sitting there with my baby, this is the power of the words.
Yes, it really is. And
the power of stories.
And I know that your book is about this, right? It's about birthing at a later age. And then you also have a program. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Usually I ask later in the show, but I know that you do other things. It's not just childbearing that
no.
Dealing with. So
no, exactly. Not at all. This is just when my first brush with true ageism came about. Also, I had the geriatric pregnancy. And so the book that you're referring to, thank you very much, is called The Joy of Later Motherhood. And it's full of stories of women who had naturally conceived children, all healthy, all good, in their 40s, the first child. So past 40, they had 1, 2, 3 children.
Wow.
But this is why I am so passionate about the topic, because I see how this narrative, how the constant negative stories, conversations, even our doctors, how that influences us, not just in our mind, but also in our physiology. Because just thinking about, with wanting to have a child, it is so near and dear. Just thinking about, oh my God, I'm getting too old. I can't do this anymore. Yes. The stress hormones, the cortisol level that is increased in your body literally gets the message, oh, now is not the right time. We're too stressed. There's too much going on. There could be danger and so on. And this is why I'm so This is how it started for me. And then, of course, I noticed, and getting older and pushing 50, that these messages, they're more subtle now in the 40s.
Yes.
It's not like, it's very not subtle when you want to have a child, but there are so many more subtle hints. And we are so trained, as you mentioned at the beginning, we don't even see those messages. We just think, okay, this is normal. It doesn't even register.
Right.
However, it does register in our minds and in our souls. And I'm telling you, and like everybody who's listening right now, even if you're in your 20s, I can guarantee you have given something up already because you thought you're getting too old.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be a child. We are giving up on all kind of things, on our wish to travel the world for a year. We are giving up on finding a certain kind of mate, a certain kind of partner, and settling with the one that we have. We're giving up on our idea of possibly living in a different country one day. We're giving up now that we have children and a family, that we cannot go and travel around the world anymore. We are giving up things early.
Yes.
Because we're thinking we can't do this anymore. It's an age thing.
Yeah.
And that's why I created, this is what you were referring to at the beginning, a summit that is called It's Never Too Late to Live Your Dream Summit for women 40, 50 and up. So 40 plus, designed for women 40 plus, by women who are past the 40th birthday, to just show each other what is really possible and how actually good the world gets. Our world, and we're in charge of our world. How good it gets if we allow it and untrain ourselves with those thoughts. Okay, I'm turning X, Y, Z. I can't do this anymore.
Right.
Because here's the deal, Shirley. Yes, so we have messages that are coming to us from the outside. There's no denying of that. Ageism is real, and it is sometimes subtle, very often not. However, no, but here's the truth. We get these messages from the outside, but true ageism, the true ageism, that one is an inside job.
Yes. I love that.
True ageism is an inside job. We are taking those messages or the beliefs or whatever we learned already growing up as children and what we see on TV and make it our own.
Mm-hmm.
And we are the ones who putting those limits on ourselves, what we can do, how we can look, we're giving up, like what, in our 30s, 40s, we're giving up our dream of having a certain kind of body, or a certain kind of health, or a certain kind of strength, vitality. It is almost ingrained in us to dim our lights. And this is an inside job.
I love it, because I think about, this. So I'm 49 this year, and most people don't believe that because I don't act like it, and I don't want to act like it. Like I don't even know what it is actually. I don't know what a 49-year-old supposed to act like, but just in the last few years, I've gone to Africa, Costa Rica, Scotland, Ireland, traveled like literally all over the world, and I have plans to continue to do that. And I think that I appreciate it more now. I enjoy it more now than I possibly would have, decades ago. And a lot of it does come with age. I think there are some really good things that come with age. We have wisdom, right? We've experienced enough of life to be able to, I don't know, just have like a different perspective. And it's funny because we just moved into a new house a few months ago, and we were visiting one of our neighbors last night, and each time we visit, new stories about each other come up. And last night she's like, I cannot believe you've done all these things in 49 years and you're only 49 years old. And I'm like, I've never heard that ever. No one's ever said that to me. You're only 49. Like, no one's ever said that to me. So it was funny to hear that. And I wanted to just like get up and hug her, but I thought she might think I was kind of weird. Plus we're social distancing. But she was just like, how have you experienced so many things in 49 years? And I'm thinking she has no idea. Like, I have so many more things that I experienced in this time. So it was funny because I didn't put two and two together that today was our interview and last night I had that said to me, but it's awesome. Like, I love that someone looked at me and said, you're only 49 years old. So I do think that this is the time for us to just embrace our age and really make it a super fun time in our life.
Are you feeling stuck in your relationship? Do you feel you need more? Whether it be more time, attention, security, gifts, intimacy, or companionship, your partner is likely experiencing something similar. Yet both of you are not sure how to fix it. In Shirley Baldwin's best-selling book, Get What You Want From Your Man, she will show you how to get all of this and more. Get What You Want From Your Man is available nationwide through all major bookstores, Amazon.com, and through her website, www.getwhatyouwantguru.com.
Yes. And she gave you one word that made all the difference.
Right?
You are only 49 years old, but that changes everything. It may be just one word, but this is also the power of words. As a journalist, I mean, this is my world for decades now. One word, but it changes the energy about everything. It changes the energy of the number of 49. The way you speak about your own age, the way you speak about your future. And this is, again, just something, if you own this now, you could also have said, oh, she just said only, it's ridiculous, and, moved on. But no, you're taking it and you're embracing it and you run with it. And this is we can uncondition ourselves from whatever we believe our age is, whatever that says about us.
I want to say every day, I'm only 49. I'm only 49. Hey babe, I'm only 49. I told, it's like that. It was such a fun, like you say, it's just one word and it changes our entire perspective of it. So.
Yes. And in a moment, let's talk about the trajectory of with that word. I'm only 49. What can that mean for the next 10, 20, 30 years to come? But one step back here. When I speak about my fascination with age, very often people say to me, oh, yeah, age is just a number.
Right.
And that's actually not true. Age is a number that almost all of us attach a story to, an emotion to, and a consequence to.
Mm-hmm. Like when you're 40, you lose your eyesight.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, we all have the story. So, I mean, you can find 30-year-olds that say, oh, I cannot be or if I'm not pregnant and have my child before 30, I'm going to be old. I'm going to be left behind because all my others. So there's the story.
Right.
I'm going to be, or I'm losing my eyesight, whatever it is. Or at 40, I will never find love again, So that's the story. And attached to the story is the emotion. And the emotion is usually not a positive one. Because getting older is not something that we look forward to in general, unless you are, 12. Then, or 6 as my son. He's still looking forward to getting older. But once you're 20, that ship sails. So we have the emotion, and then there's usually a consequence. And that consequence for, okay, I can't have my child anymore. Or the consequence is, oh yes, of course I need to get glasses, and this is it. I can never reverse my eyesight anymore. This is it. It has to be that way. And once we are aware of, and this is what I really would encourage our listeners today to do, is make a list. Just sit down and think about the next big milestone ages that are ahead of you. Either with a 5 at the end or a 0 at the end. Just think about consciously, what are you thinking about a certain age? What is the story that you have come up with, that you're attaching to that number, the emotion and the consequence? And once you know this, once you're aware of the stories that you are telling yourself about an age, you can detach that from a number, and then it becomes a number. Then it really becomes just a number. When you take the emotions, when you detach the emotion that you have about 35, 40, 49, 56, 65, When you take that away, then it becomes only a number. And then your life, I believe, is so much more measurable. It is so much more enjoyable because you've taken away something that is negative and doesn't serve anybody. I mean, like we are afraid of going downhill, not realizing that, other maybe society tells us we're over the hill, but hell, we are not. Absolutely not.
Downhill is always easier anyway.
And
Right?
it's like we go downhill on the ski slopes of Austria or or somewhere else, but that's it. It is like we always thinking that age means that you deteriorate. And what we now know, I mean, our brains wire new circuitry the older we get. Like not that long ago, we just thought this is it. You just lose brain capability. We believed this for decades and decades and generations, and now we know better. Now today we know that there's this difference in between chronological age and biological age. Mm-hmm. You can take a blood test today, and I took it, that compares your chronological age is the one in your driver's license, but the biological one tells you how quickly or slowly your cells are aging. And right. You can take a line of I don't know, 50 or 49-year-olds. And hardly any of us will look the same, and maybe don't even have the same biological age. Chronologically, yes, but biologically, no. It's our health, it's our lifestyle, it's our upbringing, it's our mental capacity. And I'm talking about not intelligence, but I'm talking about resilience, how we deal with the adversities of life, how we have dealt with it in the past. So the aging process is completely individual.
It really is. It really is.
And you can literally reverse aging.
So would you say, like, along with, if we're giving our listeners some advice, right, about taking those numbers that they have in their head and unattaching something with those, what if we were to attach something with it? Like, okay, at 45, I'm going to go to Europe, or at 56, I will have done this. And instead of regressing with the age, what if we were to do something like progress with it? Like, what if we were to start to put things in place where we actually looked forward to having that age come?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is the most beautiful thing that you can do, is getting yourself into the state of looking forward to the future, of looking forward. I mean, come on, you and I, we have so much life experience, so much wisdom gathered already,
right?
So much to give, that I also know, and this is what I so truly feel in my heart and in my soul, that the women that are now 40, 50 and up, in times like these that we are in now, we are called to step forward and bring our feminine wisdom, knowledge, our life experience and our business experience forward into this world to make this world a better place.
I agree.
Yeah, we are super, super important as we may have never been, and we have the ability to do this. I mean, come on, we are on your podcast. Thank you so much for having me. And we can have these conversations that are so important for other women to hear, because it's the world that needs us now and what we bring to the table. So moving forward, like also professionally, if you're in your 40s, 50s, you may have had an amazing career in a great company and you've been really, really good in your job, but now also, maybe through Corona, maybe you were thinking about this before, but now you may be looking at the last 20 years thinking, do I really want to do this for the next 20 years to come?
Yeah, for sure.
And having this conversation again, okay, so if the answer is no, it's like, what can it be? What is it that I want the next 20 or 30 years to be like? Who do I want to be next? Who do I want to be? What do I want to look like at 50? What do I want to feel like at 60? How in awesome shape mentally, physically, and emotionally do I want to be at 70? Everything that we are doing now, and these are the conversations we need to have now, because the way you and we look and we are today is a reflection of what we did 10, 20 years ago.
You're right.
The lifestyle that we did a decade or two ago. So having this conversation today and thinking, okay, I want to be the most kick-ass 70-year-old the world has ever seen, is the setup for me to take the actions that will come to fruition in 20 years from now. I mean, everything that I do, you see, whatever comes to fruition right now, but my lifestyle today will determine my health, my ability to really make smart decisions and to be in, like, who knows, maybe, come on, we are starting the next $1 million companies and make a huge impact in the world in addition to the life that we already have.
Yeah. And something I've realized too, I too wrote my first best-selling book, Past 40. I have my podcast. I'm creating an online course. I have like a lot of things, a lot of dreams and goals and just so many things to be excited about. And I think that, like you said, 20 years ago, depending on what it was that we were going through, is kind of showing up in us now. And something that I've really learned is happiness creates youth. Happiness creates health. And I do think that you're right when a lot of people feel like they're just stuck because, oh, I'm too old to make changes now. I'm too old. I hear this a lot with all of my clients. I'm too old to make changes. I'm too old to leave this relationship, or I'm too old to stay in it, or I'm too old to,
Yes.
do the fun things with my kids. Or I feel like right now I have the funnest time with my kids because they're adults and we get to have conversations and we play together and talk together. And it's just like complete beautiful chaos when everyone's here together. And I really think that it is true that happiness and looking forward to something, putting something for me. I've always had to look forward to a trip. I'm almost always planning my next trip on the way home from my last one. And it's something that if I'm down or something doesn't go my way, I just think about, oh, what's my next trip going to be? Because that's my hobby. Like, what's the next thing I'm going to do? And so focusing on our age as something negative is only going to give us more wrinkles, create something mentally for us that dreads, and then dread brings unhappiness, and then unhappiness brings age and health issues. And so I think it's so important that we really do take this time to, like you say, like, let's plan the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, like let's plan the next 2 decades. And what are we going to be? There's like, we really do truly have a whole life ahead of us. And because we're so much wiser, smarter, like so many mistakes have been made that we know not to do those. We just have such an ability, like a much larger ability to create whatever we want.
Yes,
right?
yes. And to all our listeners and to your clients who are saying, oh, I'm too old to do that, 2 things. First of all, that's what I forgot to mention before. I prepared 6 interviews by women who really did something remarkable in the 40s, 50s, and 60s that I put on the link to the interviews is it's never too late 2020.com. So that you have inspiration. Again, it's never too late 2020.com, that you have inspiration, that you can see, hey, come on, if she did it, I was like, oh, maybe it's possible for me too. Because so there's the inspiration. That's in my book. We need to have other women who have done it to just inspire us and to see, it's like, oh my God, this is possible. Because the reality, this is the second thing I wanted to remark, is when we say, oh, at my age now, or I'm too old to do this and that.
Yes.
My goodness, we are also using this as an excuse.
For sure, an excuse. And so, okay, I can tell that you're super passionate about this. Like, I love it. I love all your energy that you're bringing. And I will also put that link on my website. But I wanted to ask you, so we've already given a ton of advice of what our listeners can do today to start defying age, mentally defying age. So tell me, is there anything that you've regretted or would would go back and redo if you were given the chance?
Yeah, actually, I had some difficult times in my 30s when it comes up to my profession. And I wish I could go back and redo those years because, now that they're gone, I cannot, they're gone. I can't redo them. Beautiful, my 20s were full of life, full of energy, full of vibrancy. And then career-wise, my 30s were not. And then in my 40s, I kicked into gear again. And sometimes I think, I'm also so passionate about this topic because I see that other women, not for everybody, your career, your life was a constant achieving of the milestones that society tells us this is, at 25, you should do this, and then 30, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on. So for me, I'm truly a late bloomer with my child later on. Mm-hmm. And now starting, with the new business and such. I want to also talk to other women who had children early and then they couldn't go to work. Mm. They chose this beautiful choice that they made to stay home with the children, but now 10, 15 years later have gone by and now they want to go back. So do I regret those years? I feel sorry that happened from time to time. I'm a little sad about it. But then I'm also thinking, but this got me here where I am today. And maybe this is why I'm also so passionate about this conversation, because I really truly feel this is not a lip service when I say I really feel the best is yet to come.
Love
the best
it.
is yet to come.
It is never too late.
It is never too late. Exactly. If we don't make age an excuse, it is never ever too late. Please, in the last decade alone, when it comes to business, when it comes to startup companies around the world, most of them were started by women and men 55 plus. Oh, this is remarkable. This is remarkable. There's a shift happening. There's a change happening. And I believe that all my hardship that I experienced is good for, I want to bring this now into the world. Yeah. There's something really big that I have to say that I need to bring into this world because, again, the world needs us now.
So how about you tell us how to get in touch with you? I'm sure there are women who will want to have you bring this to them. So tell me how we get in touch with you. Tell me about your program. Again, I know it's never too late, 2020.com. I'll have it. Yes, I'll have the link on my website, and just tell us how to get in touch with you. And I'm so grateful that you were here with me today.
Yes, thank you. I would, to keep it really simple, please go to itsnevertoolate2020.com. You find me there. When you sign up, you get immediately access to the 6 interviews that I mentioned, and you get an email from me into your inbox. And then please respond to me, reach out to me. You'll have my telephone number. We can communicate. I love communicating. I love having these conversations, and I do private coaching with my clients. But that's always okay, what is it that you need? This is very individualized because, we are individuals. Mm-hmm. And what is it that you need? How can I help you? Because my expertise is the mindset. It's the mental strength training that I received in Europe many years ago. That was then after my 30s. I need an upgrade for myself. And this is when I got the training, and it really made all the difference in the world to me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's been super fun to hear your passion and to have this conversation with you. And to our listeners, remember that it's never too late, and we will see you soon.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It's never too late, ladies. Until soon.
Thanks so much for listening to the Get What You Want podcast. If you loved it, please subscribe, share it with others, and leave me a review on Apple Podcast. You can also visit me on my website at www.getwhatyouwantguru.com. Would love to hear from you. Now go create.